710 ESPN Seattle presents Brock and Salk's Wrap-Up.
Powered by the law offices of Heidi Hunt.
When does a win not feel like a win? It's a question Steve Sarkisian's asking. We've got answers next. Huskies win 30-27. That's the good news. They squeak past Eastern Washington. The fact that they had to squeak, Brock, obviously that's bad news. Now, I don't think it's as bad as everybody else does. I'm not panicking. I'm not throwing things overboard because it's a sinking ship. But I do think there's a lot to be worried about after a game like that. You should be destroying an FCS team like Eastern Washington.
Most pleasant surprise and biggest disappointment. For me, the biggest disappointment was up front defensively. That's where you have your most experience. That's where Alameda Ta'amu is supposed to be a first-round NFL draft choice, where Everett Thompson is a fourth-year senior that's got to be a difference maker, where Hauli Jamora and Josh Shirley are wreaking havoc. And I know you all scream and write and comment that, they got rid of the ball and Eastern really neutralized their pass rush with a quick passing game, and they did. But it's still upon that defensive line to hit Bo Levi Mitchell, to harass him, to squeeze that pocket. They did very little of that. For me, my biggest disappointment was that defensive line.
Yeah, that was it for me. But if I have to go down another level, you know what? I'd actually probably look at Jesse Collier, who I love. He's one of my favorite players on this team. When he's going right, Brock, he's a guy I expect big things from, and I expect him to be explosive. And I think that's what bummed me out. The numbers aren't that bad. He did have the one nice shifty move in the backfield for 13 yards, but I didn't see him taking a lot of yards after what the offensive line gave him, and that's what I'm expecting to see from him. So not nearly as disappointing as the defensive line, but I'll throw him on that list.
My two pleasant surprises were the kicker. Yeah, the kicker, Eric Volk. 3 40-plus yard field goals after a disappointing second half of last season. He was really good, and I think it was just overall the freshmen looking the part. You know that Austin Safarian-Jenkins and Kason Williams and James Sample, those guys look the way you want them to look. They looked comfortable, they looked confident. Did they make some mistakes? Yes, they did. Were they difference makers? No, they're not. Was it their first time out, and did they look the part, feel the part? So pleasantly surprised by some of those freshmen.
Well, I'm always pleasantly surprised by Chris Polk. That almost goes without saying. The way he churns his legs once he gets into contact, I think is awesome, and he's just a dynamic player. But if I have to go maybe off the board a little bit, I know a lot of people aren't saying this today. I'll go Keith Price. I actually liked the game Keith Price played. I liked that he didn't make any mistakes. I liked that he didn't turn the ball over, which could have been disastrous. I liked that, half the time he was handing the ball off. I get it. He battled through an injury, so he wasn't as mobile as he normally would be. He never threw that pick that could have lost them the game. Ask him to be a game manager in a running offense. I think he did it on Saturday.